You know, I use a variety of gear on the road. You know, one of the main things that I always use, whether it's for an intimate acoustic setting or full band setting, I use Bose L1 Model II systems. The main thing about an L1 Model II system, you know, when you're on the road, space is always an issue, whether you're in a car, a van, or if you're towing a trailer. They literally break down into duffel bags, and they're not cumbersome at all, so they leave a lot of other room for, you know, all that other stuff. The other thing too is just the consistency of sound that they offer. And the L1 Model IIs, I mean, the coolest thing about them is that, you know, it's basically like a tower system, and you have, you know, two pieces of the tower, and they come apart, and there's 12 speakers in each, and there's a 180-degree sound dispersion ratio. So that way it's like you can stand anywhere in the room and you're gonna get the same mix. Their mixing board setup is called a T1 ToneMatch, and all of your presets can be saved. It's pretty much just like plug in and play once you set up. And I mean, if I'm doing a solo acoustic show, I mean, it takes me like 15 minutes to set the whole system up, just make sure that the levels are right in terms of volume, pretty much. And they're great. You just put them on, you know, basically you bookend the band with them, and everybody just gets like a great tone bath of your mix, and it's awesome. And I mean, Bose, they've been wonderful to me. I mean, they have been, you know, in terms of a break, you know, me getting affiliated with Bose was a major break for me. Being on the road all the time, it's like being like a chicken with its head cut off. I mean, you're here, there, and it's nonstop. And so especially like when I do acoustic gigs, you know, it's a lot easier for me just to use gig bags. And, you know, one of the gig bags I use is the Gator ProGo Deluxe, which is great. It's got a basically soft microfiber interior that protects my acoustics. It's got a really great rain cover that, you know, you don't have to worry about getting soaked walking to a gig, like particularly in New York City where we're at right now. And I've done plenty of gigs where it has been pouring out, and, you know, you always have in the back of your mind, it's like, oh man, my guitar is going to be ruined. But, you know, this protects your guitar. And then it just has a lot of other great storage capabilities. I mean, it's got a part in there where you can put a tablet or like an iPod, you know, so it's great. The Gator GTOUR large pedal board, it has many assets to it, and it allows me to have, you know, a lot of different options. I mean, right now for like the acoustic rig, you know, I just, aside from the Shure wireless system that I have, I use an LR Baggs Venue DI. So there's a lot of extra space on the board. So if I ever do a tour where I have to, you know, do electric shows and acoustic, I mean, I can pretty much fit both setups on it. It's got a lot of storage, you know, underneath it for cables, which is great, and keeping everything contained in one, you know, entity is great. It's built extremely rugged and tough. It's got wheels on it, so you don't have to carry it. You can just wheel it behind you, and I mean, it's just incredibly strong to protect your pedals. Using the GLX D16 by Shure, it's great. It's another thing that is really cool in terms of helping you, you know, keep your overhead low and keeping the amount of gear that you have on the road low, because its receiver is small, so that way it takes up minimal space on my pedal board. It's got a built-in tuner. You can also utilize the built-in battery that's in there, and if you plug it in for 15 minutes, you get about a 90-minute show out of it, and then if you plug it in for 90 minutes, you get about 16 hours. You know, just the whole wireless aspect of it, when you have to be confined to like one area on stage, it can be really limiting to connecting with an audience, you know, and having that, you know, not be an issue, and being able to walk wherever you want on stage and really just take people with you. It's definitely helped me out a lot with connecting with more of a fan base. So tonight at my gig at Rockwood Music Hall, I'm using the Shure KSM8 for the first time. I'm pretty excited. I've used Shure for years. I normally use a Beta 58, and you know, I mean, Shure is just one of those companies that reliability is fantastic, and the thing that's always struck me about their mics is that they really cut. And using some other mics, you don't always get that, and you know, when you don't have a mic that cuts, you basically have to keep cranking it, and then you just run into feedback issues. And I've never had that issue with Shure mics. They're great. And one thing that really intrigues me about this is the dual diaphragm system that I'm looking forward to checking that out. Basically because you can really just get up on the mic and it doesn't give you like an overly crazy bass response. It just, like I said before, it just really cuts through the mix and gets the tone out of your voice, which is, you know, what you always want to try to get. My name's Matthew Szlachetka, and I caught a break at AMS.